I'm terrified that I'm living in the Wild West, or when Rome fell, that we're in a lawless land.
California, basically the Wild West. If you call 911, who knows if anyone's going to answer. If they do answer, eventually, maybe when the police show up, they negligently discharge their firearm into your vehicle. Who knows? Great state to live in for other reasons, but if you want to take your own personal responsibility of safety into your own hands, I highly recommend you do so, and maybe this video will be a good reason for you to start thinking about that. Hello everyone, today we're going to be talking about the current state of California and how your personal self-protection is your own responsibility and no one else's. Before we really even get into it, I need to be very clear with something. This video is going to have an opinion that might make you think either I love cops or I hate cops, and it's really just not the case. It's really somewhere in the middle. I don't hate police as a whole, and I know that's going to piss off half of you, but I also don't just blindly support everything they do and act as if they have no fault. So that's going to piss off the other third. You got 2/3. Somewhere in the middle, some of you might see this and think, okay, maybe this is a sign for me to take responsibility for my own safety, because many people only get that wake-up call when it's too late. We're going to be talking about two instances, one where a police officer negligently discharges into a car full of people, the other where an old lady was put on hold, and I might also talk about how recently I called 911 and was put on hold for over 2 minutes and didn't actually get a hold of anyone in my local area for about 3.5, but that's just if we'll have time today. First thing that we're going to be talking about today is a LA County Sheriff's deputy who, not accidentally, they're going to say accidentally, negligently discharged her service firearm through the back of a vehicle they were attempting to arrest the people inside of.
Dude, I totally AD, Jesus Christ.
AD, meaning accidental discharge of a firearm. That's what an LA County Sheriff's deputy is heard saying on her body cam video.
If you ever find yourself in a situation where you negligently discharge and you have body cameras recording everything that you say and do, your lawyer's going to have a hard time saying that you were in fear for your life if you say, I totally just accidentally discharged my firearm into this vehicle. So just shut up if you fuck up.
After a bullet was discharged from her weapon during a traffic stop of a reported stolen car.
Hey, how many people are in the car? Reno, you guys all right?
The incident happened in Paramount in June of 2022. The bullet went into the back window of the car and exited the front window. That's according to Carrie Harper, the attorney representing the 2 teens and 1 adult, all black males who were in the car.
From the back to the front. Couldn't even see what they were doing inside. This is a pretty open and shut case of shouldn't have done that. But they stole the vehicle, or I guess allegedly stole the vehicle is what they know at this time.
Deputy Acuna from the Sheriff's Department fired into the vehicle, putting all 3 of the young men's lives in danger.
There are few things that I fear more in this world than a female cop. I'm 6'2", 200 pounds. A female officer is not going to, generally, I'm generalizing here, most smaller people are not going to be able to stop me or someone my size from doing something unless they are one of the few people in this world that are trained in real fighting or use a level of force like a firearm to handle that situation. Police officers, if they're going to be able to do their job, need to be able to be physical people, and I personally just think that there should be height, weight, and physicality requirements that would make a law enforcement officer someone that if they say, hey, stop doing that, you'd look at them and be like, yeah, I'm gonna stop doing that. Painted nails with long acrylics, not exactly the most confidence inspiring as a partner if I was in law enforcement.
If it would have went inches to the left or to the right, we would have a dead young man today.
We spoke to the 2 teens' mothers.
One of the boys in that vehicle could have been dead. My son, one of the other boys.
I don't think she deserves to work as an officer. She's supposed to protect and serve, and she failed at doing that.
Speaking of jobs not being done super well, these 2 mothers, their kids stole a vehicle. I'm glad that they're seeking therapy and seeking counseling. Hopefully they can deal with the trauma of the events that transpired due to the actions that they set in place and then the negligence by the police officer. Obviously, they should not have been shot at. I'm not saying that at all. But I try to do this thing where I don't steal vehicles so that police don't come chasing after me. And it seems to have gotten me through most of my life so far without having to deal with a situation like that. Now, this next story is going to be a story that might seem surprising to you. When you call 911, the police are not only minutes away, sometimes you are minutes from being able to speak to someone on the phone. Recently, I had to call 911 because I saw a man that was verbally and getting pretty close to getting physical with the woman that he was with. She walked off, he drove after her. I had already started calling 911. I had my gun on me, but I did not want to get involved in a domestic situation. Ask anyone that's in law enforcement or anyone that's ever had to be in a situation like that. You don't want to get involved because even if you're in the right, chances are you're going to get involved in a shitty situation, and maybe the person that you saved will now testify against you saying you were the aggressor. So just, I'm glad that nothing happened, and then after 10 minutes or so, police did show up, but I called 911 when I really thought someone needed help, and I got a, we're sorry, all operators are busy at this time. Insane. And people doubted me at the time saying, oh, you didn't get put on hold. If you've ever been put on hold by 911, go ahead and comment down below. We're going to be showing you a video of a woman, a 73-year-old woman, who is being chased in a road rage or theft incident and got put on hold.
Unfortunately, somebody like myself is a sitting duck. They look and they go, oh, look, little old lady in a nice car, let's get her.
73-year-old Elizabeth Gage says she was driving back to her Oakland Hills home when she realized she was being followed at about 12:30 Saturday afternoon. She had just gotten off 580 and was near Mountain Boulevard and Keller Avenue. She was driving her Mercedes SUV. The car behind her, also a Mercedes SUV.
So I moved over thinking, okay, let him pass me. He moved over. And that made me uncomfortable, so I drove a little faster, and he drove a little faster.
I gotta give props to this lady before I give some advice, but props, because we saw a similar situation happen maybe a year or two ago where a guy was followed home from San Francisco back to his house in the Bay 40 minutes, or 40 miles. He drove for 40 miles while someone was following him, had no idea. This lady sees someone behind her, gets uncomfortable, changes lanes, immediately put on alert. So I gotta give her props for being situationally aware. It can get you out of a lot of things. Now, she mentioned that she is a little old lady in a nice vehicle and how she is potentially a victim. Well, there's this interesting tool, this interesting gadget that does not care how big or strong you are. It doesn't matter how big the guy is. I assure you that 9mm is going to go through him, assuming he's not huge. But you don't take rounds from a Glock and just shrug it off as if nothing happened. I guess unless you're on like PCP or something like that. But even then, you put enough holes in something, the balloon starts to deflate.
So she called 911 while in the hills, but got a recording.
All lines are busy. You'll be answered in the call, in the order in which you, yeah. And all I could think of was, really? Really?
She went down the hill on Golf Links Road. She heard the same recording over and over again.
Can I say it?
Sure.
Oh crap, oh crap, oh crap. That's when I realized I'm on my own here.
It's unfortunate that in her time of need, she realized that her own personal safety is her own responsibility. Her situational awareness probably saved her life in this situation. Maybe not her life, but she's an elderly woman. If someone got physical with her, very bad things could happen very easily. It's easy to assume that. I worked in a gun store during the 2017 fires in Sonoma County, and I cannot tell you how many people came in for the first time wanting to buy a gun because when they called 911, when people were lurking around their property, they got a busy signal. A lot of people don't realize the importance of having the means and capability to protect yourself and your loved ones until calling 911 doesn't work. And when 911 doesn't work, what are you gonna do? That's really the big takeaway here.
Gage got back on the 580 headed toward downtown Oakland at high speed.
I was driving about 100, 105, yeah. I kind of played Frogger. I was going in and out of cars. I'm sure somebody thought I was crazy.
She managed to lose them and went back home. No one ever answered 911.
I was on hold with them until I pulled into my garage.
Just a half hour before her ordeal, her neighbor had his cell phone stolen by someone in this Mercedes GLA. Gage believes the same car was behind her. And about 6:30 Tuesday morning, a woman was carjacked of her white BMW by 4 men, also in a black Mercedes, at Mountain and Keller, the same spot where Gage first noticed she was being followed.
I'm terrified that I'm living in the Wild West, or when Rome fell, that we're in a lawless land.
California, basically the Wild West. If you call 911, who knows if anyone's going to answer? If they do answer, eventually, maybe when the police show up, they negligently discharge their firearm into your vehicle. Who knows? Great state to live in for other reasons, but if you want to take your own personal responsibility of safety into your own hands, I highly recommend you do so, and maybe this video will be a good reason for you to start thinking about that. Let me know what you think down below. Have you ever had to call 911 and nobody answered? Hope not. Hope it never happens to you. You guys know the drill. Have fun, be safe, stay dangerous. Peace.
That we're in a lawless land.
Gage is a retired school teacher who's beat cancer. This, she says, is far scarier.
I'm supposed to be in my golden years. Please leave us alone. Please leave us alone.